Hi guys, welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhoades and I'm here to get you started on Unit 28, ORY and URY endings. Please take a second to gather your materials. You will need your purple book open to page 173. You'll also need some colorful pens, markers, or crayons. Remember, whatever I mark on my board, you should be marking on your page. Please save room for a key as well. You'll notice I already went ahead and used brown vertical lines to break my words into syllables. So category, I broke it into 4 syllables. You'll notice I also used brown check marks to signify the stressed syllable. That's the part of the word that we say a little bit louder and stronger. This week, all of our words have a stressed first syllable, with the exception of number 4, directory. We say the second syllable louder there. All right, so for the last couple of weeks, we have been talking about words that end with these Y endings. We talked about the ERY ending in words like pottery and flattery. Last week we talked about the ARY ending in words like stationary or military. This week we're talking about ORY and URY, okay? This week our words are going to be a mix of nouns and adjectives. You are not going to really see any verbs this week. Some of our words have a derivational suffix, which means we took our base word and added the ORY or the URY to the end of it to make it a new word and change its part of speech. And then for some of our words, it's really hard to pull out any kind of base word because these words are just starting with some sort of Latin root. Okay, so let's start by reading our list. Please repeat after me. Category, century, cursory, directory, factory, history, injury, inventory, ivory, luxury, mandatory, memory, mercury, savory, sensory, story, territory, theory, treasury, victory. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is choose a color, and we're going to mark up our ORY endings. But I want you to notice that ORY has 2 different pronunciations this week. So in a word like category, that OR sounds like or, category. But it has a different pronunciation in cursory, directory, and factory. Let's go down to inventory, and there's that ORY again. Mandatory, there it is again. Territory, and that's it. Category, inventory, mandatory, territory. All of these words end with ORY, and that OR is making an OR sound. Notice these are also some of our biggest multisyllabic words. All right, let's choose a different color. And this time, let's look for our other ORY endings, but use your ear to notice the slightly different pronunciation. Cursory, directory, factory, history, ivory, memory, savory, sensory, theory. We're going to skip that one. Victory. In all of these words, they also end with ORY, but this time it makes an sound. I'm going to go back because I realized category, inventory, mandatory, story. That should have been in my first category. All right, so just something to notice that OR is sometimes going to say or and sometimes going to say So when you come across an unfamiliar word that ends with this chunk, you might have to try both sounds and just see what sounds better. Okay, now I skipped theory because this is like no other word, right? We have an E and an O vowel team kind of making that long E sound. The only other time I've seen that E-O vowel team is in this word. You, of course, know this one. People, right? We have E-O making a long E sound. So theory, it's doing the same thing here. So we have E-O-R making an ear sound. All right, so now let's see what URY sounds like at the end of a word. Century, Can you hear that sound? Century, injury, luxury, mercury, treasury. All of our URY endings are consistent, so that's good. In all of these words, the UR is making an sound. Now, just one more thing. I want you to notice the consonants that come before that URY, they kind of make some strange sounds. Century, that T sounds like a CH, century. Injury kind of sounds like a J. I think that's okay. Luxury almost sounds like a lug and then an SH, luxury, right? Mercury, that makes sense. Treasury, that sounds not really like an SH, but more like a Z sound. So just pay attention to that, okay? The letter that comes before the URY ending might be a little tricky because it takes on a different sound. Okay, before we talk about the meanings of our words, I do want to tell you about a new root that you're going to encounter on page 176. Two roots, actually. You're going to learn that TERR is a Latin root, and GEO, G-E-O, is a Greek root. And both of these, when you see them in a word, they both have something to do with land or ground or earth. Okay, so you're going to see words like geologist. Well, there's the geo. A geologist studies rocks. They study stuff that they can dig up from the ground. Okay, if you study geography, you're studying where different places are on Earth, where they are located. So geology, geologist, geography. Then you're going to see words with ter, like territory, right here. If we talk about a particular territory, we're talking about a giant piece of land, right? The Western territory, French territory, British territory. We're talking about the piece of land that they own. If we talk about terrain, we're talking about, like, let's say you go hiking on very rocky terrain. You're talking about the rocky land. So you're going to see other words like terrace and extraterrestrial. Inter, if you inter someone, that means you bury them into the ground. So an interment would be a burial. Okay, so when you get to this page, you're going to have to read these words and then match them with their definitions. All right, so very quickly, let's just go through our list and make sure we know what all of our words mean, because once again, we've got some great vocabulary. So starting with category. When you talk about a category, that's a noun, and it's a grouping. So your category might be colors, red, blue, orange, yellow. They all get grouped together because they're colors. Your category might be foods, hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza. They're all grouped together because they're foods. A century is 100 years. This is a root. That means 100. There are 100 cents in a dollar. Supposedly a centipede has 100 feet, and there are 100 years in a century. Cursory is a describing word. It's an adjective. It means quick. Quick and maybe hasty. So if you, let's say you're checking out of your hotel room, you've got your suitcase, and you're just giving it a quick cursory check to make sure you didn't forget anything. You're just quickly looking around the room. Do I have any pillows left on the bed? Did I leave my coat hanging in the closet? Did I leave my charger? Right? You're just doing a quick cursory glance around the room. That's where that fits. A directory is a noun. If you go into a medical office and you're trying to figure out where the pediatrician is, there might be a directory in the lobby. It tells you all the doctor's offices and what room or floor to go to. So think of a directory as a list that directs you. It tells you where to go. Okay? A factory is a place that makes stuff. Anytime you see fact, it has something to do with making things. So a factory is a place where we make stuff. History, that's a noun, although that's not a concrete noun, right? But history is all the stuff that happened in the past. When we learn about the past, we're learning about history. And injury is a noun. If you injure yourself, you have an injury. See, here's an example of a suffix that we added. Inventory is a noun. It's a list of things, a list of items. So if you own a restaurant, somebody's got to go buy the food, right? And before they do, they have to take inventory. How much flour do we have? How much sugar do we have? Do we need more meat? Do we need more vegetables? That list of stuff is your inventory. Ivory is a thing. It's a material. Elephants, for a long time, were hunted for their tusks. Those teeth that stick out. The tusks were very valuable to hunters because they could get a lot of money for the ivory. Now it's illegal to hunt elephants because it's just cruel to kill that giant beast and leave it there just for its ivory tusks. A luxury is a noun, right? A luxury is something you don't need, but it sure would be nice, right? We all need a home. We all need a safe place to live and stay dry and stay warm. Having a second home is a luxury, okay? We need a type of transportation. We need to figure out a way to get from place to place, especially if we don't live in the middle of a city. So a lot of families need a car, right? But getting an expensive sports car, that's a luxury. Nobody needs a fancy, expensive sports car. So a luxury is, it's something we want, I guess. Mandatory, that's an adjective. If it's mandatory, it's a must do. So every year I'm a teacher, I have to have mandatory trainings. I have to watch a video that's going to remind me what to do if a student's choking, or if they need an EpiPen, or if they're bleeding. These are all mandatory videos I have to watch. So these are mandatory, means you have to do it. Memory, that's a noun. It can be, you can talk about your memory, like you have a good memory, you remember everything. It can also be a specific memory. Maybe you have a memory of your family vacation. Mercury is a type of metal, but it's a liquid metal. It's found in thermometers. When you take your temperature, there is mercury in there, like the traditional thermometers that you put in your mouth. Savory is an adjective. Savory refers to foods that are salty or spicy. So if you think about the types of food you crave, some people crave sweet foods. They want cookies and candy and cake. Other people crave savory foods. They like chips, or they like spicy tacos, right? Their cravings are different. So savory means salty or spicy. Sensory is also an adjective. When teachers are trying to work with little kids and help them learn their letters and their sounds, besides talking, they're going to have them do sensory activities, things they can do with their hands, tracing the letters in sand, moving magnetic letters. Anything that helps you use your senses is sensory. I'm sure you know what a story is. We talked about a territory. It's a piece of land. A theory, that's a noun too. A theory is something that you think, but you can't prove, okay? Treasury, that's a noun. Our government has a treasury. That's where they keep gold. That's where they keep money, okay? And then a victory is a win. All right, so lots of great vocab. Good luck. I know you can do this. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.